Welcome back to the Nacho Kids Podcast.
What's going on, folks?
Not a lot, David, not a lot.
It's always a lot going
I
on.
know. I tell you what, it just seems like things have been crazy busy.
Yeah.
So today I want to talk about guilty parent syndrome.
Okay.
We've talked about it off and on.
Mm-hmm.
We have a course or two on it, but I just wanted us to do a short podcast on guilty parent syndrome.
Okay.
One reason is because if you are a step parent and you don't have kids of your own, you have no idea how to understand guilty parent syndrome. Even the guilty parent has trouble sometimes understanding guilty parent syndrome.
Yeah. We often have people that come to that realization. So we talk about it. Sometimes we call it GPS too. But they come to that realization that, oh gosh, I didn't realize that I was parenting through guilt. And it's different reasons. Like, okay, me and their other biological parents not together, or maybe the other parent passed away, or maybe the other parent's alive but is in jail, or doesn't have anything to do with them. I mean, there's tons of reasons. And just to bring it up, this is not a step family, blended family problem exclusively.
Right.
You and I both know people that are in nuclear families that have had something happen, that they struggle with the same thing, guilty parent syndrome, with one of their kids or all their kids because of that. So it's not something that's exclusive to step families, but we see it a lot in step families.
So, David, how would you define guilty parent syndrome?
I think it's the parenting style that you would not use had it not been for something that happened that caused you to change your parenting style in a way that's, I would say, negative. And here's an example. Like, if let's say my kid comes home from school and he's got bad grades on his report card. Typically, my response to that would probably be to put them on restriction, and to, enforce some type of punishment, whatever that might look like for whatever time period. Like, you can't be on your digital device, for the next couple weeks, whatever it is. That's what I would normally do. However, when you have guilty parent syndrome that you're kind of filtering all that through, it then becomes, well, I don't want to punish him because he might decide he wants to go stay with his mom full time. He doesn't want to be here. So I don't want to do that. You can fill in the blanks with a lot of other things, but that's just an example. Like, I'm not parenting the way I should, or even sometimes the way I want to, because I have the fear that I'll have an outcome that I won't like. For example,
Right.
the kid going to the other parent and wanting to stay there.
Well, and I think that you used a really good word, is filter.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally in a nuclear family, you may not have those feelings. So little Johnny be on restriction 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But in a blended family or step family, the bio parent that has guilty parent syndrome, little Johnny might be on restriction 2% of the time.
Yeah. The other thing that makes it hard too is, let's say we go on the restriction trail here. I put the kid on restriction, and if you and I have a kid together and I put them on restriction, you're more than likely backing me, right, on that restriction. Like, didn't your dad put you on restriction? Then you're on restriction. However, in a lot of blended families, I would put them on restriction as an example. And then their mom's like, I can't believe he did that to you. That's so unfair. You should not be on restriction. I will not enforce the restriction here. And it just becomes this very big issue, because now the kid, thinking like kids think, like, I'd rather stay with mom. Mom doesn't put me on restriction. Dad's too strict. It's like water. Like, I'm going to take the path of least resistance.
That's what most people do.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, as you were saying that, I remember one time one of your kids did something, one of the many times.
What?
And
Kids never did anything wrong.
You were going to put one of them on restriction and say it was a Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
And just for simplicity's sake, say that they were going back to their mom's on Friday.
Right.
And you said, you're on restriction for a week.
Yeah.
And I remember us having this conversation of, okay, so they're going to be on restriction. Thursday and Friday till they go to their mom's.
Mhm.
And then they're going to be gone a week. And
Right.
then they're going to come back and be on restriction, finish their restriction.
Mhm.
Right.
And I probably said, "Yes, that's exactly right."
Right. But it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
No. But you thought that you would follow through with that.
Mhm.
And it's not, y'all listen, Linda, listen. It's not that people that experience guilty parent syndrome are bad parents.
Nope.
They are feeling guilty.
Yeah. But you're
And
also
go ahead.
I was gonna say, you're also trying to navigate something that's not, it's not something you understand yet.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to us right now.
Mhm.
So, like in the example of where I put the kid on restriction for a week, my thought process was a week seems reasonable for this particular thing. My thought process wasn't, well, there's going to be a week between, the beginning and the ending of this, and can I stick to that? Because then after a week they're gone, they come back. It's like I miss them. I don't want them to come back to, oh, I hate going back to dad's because I'm still on restriction. Like I wanted the restriction to be over probably more than they did.
Mhm.
And that's not the thought process you have.
Right.
And we've come to realize and did during that time frame that it's more important to pick a punishment that you can stick to and you can do rather than looking at, the length and of time and things like that. So if you punish them on a Wednesday, you're better off saying you're punished for the next day or two and stick to that than you are saying a week and then not sticking to that.
Right. Now, for me, I experienced guilty parent syndrome, and you did too.
Oh yeah.
And I remember before we got married, we took that questionnaire. It was a marriage
Yeah, like a
questionnaire. It
premarital.
wasn't a step family questionnaire.
Nope.
And so a lot of those questions were how you would handle children
Hmm.
in certain situations. We only had one answer different out of 100 questions.
Yep. So we thought we were good.
Yeah. Newsflash. That's how we thought we would parent.
Right.
The reality was completely different.
Yeah.
So, for instance, with my son, I don't know that my guilty parent syndrome is 100% because, his dad and I are split up
Hmm.
and he doesn't have a nuclear family. I think a lot of mine goes back to my relationship with my mom. I don't want him to have that relationship with me.
Hmm.
My mom and I did not have a good relationship. Um, Maybe because we were too much alike, but I don't want to admit that, right?
I
But
think you are.
mm, um, but I want my son to be able to talk to me, and I want to make sure he knows I love him beyond a shadow of a doubt, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of my actions aren't necessarily because of his dad, but it's because of how I want my relationship to be different with him than my relationship was with my mom.
Right.
Now, another example of guilty parent syndrome could be you go and buy your kid everything because when they go to the other bio parents, they're going to buy them everything. So you feel like that, I can't be less. They won't want to be here.
Yeah. And the kid is like, dude, this is amazing. I'm glad they got divorced.
Yeah. I got 6 Xboxes today.
I know. Yeah, because yeah, that's a big issue.
It is.
In a lot of different ways. But
And that could be competition versus guilty parent syndrome,
yeah,
but it still could be guilty parent syndrome.
yeah. Um I didn't struggle with that as much. No.
Because you're cheap,
I was gonna
according
s
to your
I
ex.
was gonna say, I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but yeah, according to my ex. So, for me, I kind of put my foot down with a lot of that with like, look, if she wants to take you here and do all this stuff and buy you whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to follow suit.
Mhm.
In fact, I would try to do things that was very different. Like I wanted you to have different experiences in life.
Right.
Um, and in some cases, they had things that were, yes, they had this item here and they had that item at their mom's. And then some things they carried back and forth. So you have this one item, you can take it back and forth, just depending on what it was. That logistically was, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it was annoying to have to pick them up like Monday from school, but you also got to meet mom because she's got a whole tote full of things that
She had 4 kids.
yeah, that we have to send back and forth, and we did it. And it, it's just the way it was for us. But I don't think we struggle with that part as far as guilty purchasing of things.
Okay, so I know this is hypothetical, but I remember one time the kids left something at their mom's.
Mm-hmm.
So you made a special trip
Yep.
to go get said item.
Yep.
It wasn't something they needed, it was something they wanted.
Yep.
Do you think if you were in a nuclear family and your child left something, just say at the grandparents' house, do you think you would be as apt to run, go get that item if you were in a nuclear family?
I mean, I don't know. That's a hard one because maybe.
I would say no. And the reason I say that is because I feel like that you would want to teach your kids responsibility of, no, you left it. You need to make sure you have your stuff packed. No, I mean, we're talking kids that are of age to have those responsibilities, right?
Right.
So I can see you teaching them a lesson almost.
Mm-hmm.
It
depends on what the item is. Like if
a
it's
PlayStation.
If it's an item that's going to keep them busy and out of my hair, I'm going to go get it.
Okay. So David failed that test.
Like this is for my benefit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if you're a step parent and you don't have children of your own, it can be extremely difficult for you to understand why your partner isn't telling little Johnny to quit being a butthole.
Mm-hmm.
Or why your partner isn't forcing little Johnny to pick his shoes up, or why your partner isn't taking little Johnny's phone from him, because you don't understand how powerful this guilty parent syndrome is. And you have no way to understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of step parents, that especially the ones that don't have kids, struggle with it. And then there's ones that struggle with it that do have kids, but they don't have the guilty parent syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to a lot of step parents. I'd say 78% of them have guilty parent syndrome. The other 22% have a little bit of it. They just don't want to recognize it.
Yeah.
But some people are like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're going to their dad's tomorrow, but they got in trouble today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be addressed.
Yep.
So as a step parent, when you see your partner respond to something in a way that you don't feel is right, what should you do? 1, 2, 3. Nothing.
Yeah.
Rather than getting upset about it, put yourself in their shoes. They only see their kid X% of the time. Their kid has to bounce back and forth between houses.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid, if they are more of a disciplinarian than the other house, that the child will want to go live with the other parent.
Yeah. I'll tell you, here's probably a good example of how this plays out when maybe it's guilty parenting, but in a different light. And that's if you have a kid or anybody really that has some type of, they're sick or they have an illness. Mm-hmm. You see a very similar behavior where it's like where they're sick. So, you go do these things for them or you buy these things for them. Or like I remember I had a grandparent and I mean, they were getting close to death. And, he was like diabetic and he like wanted a candy bar. And I remember it was like, just give him a candy bar. Cause you kind of, even though it's not parenting, you still, there's like a level of difference there. It's like, I'm not going to keep something from that person because they're going through something else. And so you do it differently than you normally would. Normally, I'd been like, no, don't give him candy. He's diabetic. But I'm like, dude.
Well, I'm kind of laughing because that brought back a memory of your grandma.
Yeah.
David's grandmother, when she was her last days, I went over there and I was talking to her, and she kept acting like she was hiding candy
Mm-hmm.
up under the covers, or candy bars.
Yep.
And she'd just lift up the things and she'd be like, shh. And there was nothing there. But I remember telling you, I said, if your grandma wants a candy bar, I'll go get her one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even remember how old she was, but 100%, if you know that someone's close to the end of their life, then you're going to be more
Like
lenient.
you do anything for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so again, it's not exactly the same as guilty parenting. What I'm saying is it
It's easier to understand that way.
yeah, it looks similar.
Hmm. Yeah. And two, remember that your partner is only spending so much time with their kid. They could be, I know you did the mental countdown of, okay, my kids have 2 more years here. So really, I only have 1 more year with them because they're with their mom 50% of the time.
Yeah, and that bothered me a lot. I mean, to some degree, I think it still bothers me. It's not as upfront in my face, and I'll tell you where this came into play is, I don't even remember which one it was, but
Probably Ethan.
one of the kids' girlfriends, um, said something to me. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think maybe they had a flat tire or something like that, and she said she was telling me the story, or the story was being told, but she said, "I can't believe they never learned how to change a tire." And for me, that was immediately like a kick in the teeth.
You're a bad dad.
Yeah, and I didn't, of course, didn't say anything to him, but it just brought back the feeling of, number one, you didn't have the time that you should have had with them, and the time you did have with them, you didn't have the ability to teach them normal guy things, that I would call it, for different reasons. Some of it's because they had a massive amount of homework all the time,
There were 4 of
or
them.
yeah, or they didn't, yeah, just trying to spend any one-on-one time with them was challenging enough. It doesn't matter the reason. It just was a reminder that there were things that I feel like I failed at as a parent.
I get it. 100%. We beat ourselves up as parents enough without having our partners give us crap about it.
Yeah. I think no matter how good you do, you can easily find something that makes you feel like you didn't do enough. And
Well,
there's always
100%.
and there's always going to be things where you didn't do enough, but it wasn't because you didn't want to.
Right.
Like for me, we'll talk through this thing with Jackson. So Jackson is my stepson, and for me, I was very careful not to do things that I thought that he might look at me and say, my dad should be doing this with me. And he could resent me for it because he's mad at his dad for not doing it or whatever. So I was very careful with that relationship. If he would have come to me and said, "Hey, let's go throw a ball. Will you teach me how to throw a ball?" I absolutely would have done it.
Right. 100%.
But I didn't go to him and say, "Do you want me to teach you how to throw a ball? Or would you go outside and throw a ball?" Does it make it wrong that I didn't? I don't think so.
No.
But you can certainly see how you can find anything that says, "Oh gosh, you should have done a better job, David. You didn't do good job as a dad. You didn't do a good job as a stepdad." And there's probably people in your life, maybe exes, that will be more than happy to agree with that statement.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, I had Jackson and he was little, and we had our house, and he would go to his dad's every other weekend.
Hmm.
And that's when I would cut grass and stuff that I couldn't do with him there.
Or
Well,
for other folks, it's mowing the lawn.
yeah, mowing the lawn, upkeeping the yard. So I remember there was a weekend his dad didn't get him, and it was supposed to be grass cutting weekend. And I knew if I didn't, it was going to get out of hand, right?
Right.
So I didn't go play ball with Jackson. Instead, we cut grass. I pushed with one hand and held his hand with the other. I mean, I remember it plain as day. And I mean, it was what I had to do. You do what you have to do.
Yep.
And a lot of times, these bio parents, like myself, we threw ball and stuff like that and played, but not like, I guess, a dad would get out there with the gloves and, just whatever for hours upon hours.
Yeah. I think for me, I know we're kind of going a little off topic, but having 4 kids, I felt like I didn't have enough time, if I even wanted to do
Mhm.
something with Jackson. Now, there were certainly weeks Jackson was here, my kids were gone. Then there was the opportunity was there to do that. But if I'm being honest, I probably would have felt guilty spending more time with my stepson than my biological kids.
'Cause you didn't want unconsciously,
Hmm.
you didn't want them to come back and Jackson be like, "Yeah, me and David threw ball, and he
Yeah.
taught me this," and
But not only that, but if you think it through, this is just a potential. But potentially, what could have happened is my kids look at Jackson and go, "Wait a minute, why do you get my dad 100% of the time, and we
or
don't?"
90, yeah,
Yeah, and we don't, and therefore we don't like you now,
mhm,
and
and that happens.
their relationship could be very strained today had that happen, which
Mhm.
is not. Their relationship's great. And so there's that too. So, I can't sit there and go, "Oh, I should have spent more time with Jackson," when honestly, that could have blown up in my face.
Mhm. And it's not that you didn't spend any time with Jackson,
Right.
but you let him lead.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And 100% from day one, Jackson knew he could come to you if there was a problem.
Absolutely. And still.
Now, you used to get mad when he would walk straight by you to come ask me something.
Yeah. In the early days. In the early days.
Yep. He would walk straight by you and go ask me a question that he could have asked you.
Yeah.
But I'm his mommy.
Yep.
That's the
That
difference.
was probably in the first year or two.
I don't know.
Now I'm like, "Don't ask me. You go ask your mom."
But it's important. It is so important as a step parent to understand guilty parent syndrome
Mhm.
and understand it has nothing to do with you. It's not, "Oh, Lori, you come second." It's, "I've got these kids. It's not the ideal situation." And I know you hate this phrase, but I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. Well, you're parenting through, as I said earlier, you're parenting through the filters of situations and circumstances,
Mhm,
and everybody is to some degree. And when you're in a blended family, you're parenting through that filter and that situation and circumstances of whatever that looks like.
mhm.
Which is why not every blended family has this exact issue, and some have it terribly bad
Right.
because we all have different filters.
Mhm. And I know when stuff happens, it's not like in our head we go, "I know I should punish him, but I can't. I've just got guilty parent syndrome." That's not what
It's
happens.
not a crutch.
Yeah. It's just you automatically revert to guilty parent syndrome tactics, right?
Yeah. And then you're like, "Dang it."
Mhm, mhm. But you don't want to judge your partner or criticize them
Mhm.
for guilty parent syndrome because it's already bad enough. It really is.
Yeah,
They know. They know. We're not stupid.
yeah.
We know they should be on restriction for a whole week, but we know that's not going to work for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And, your parents used to say, "This will hurt me more than it hurts you." I always thought that was the biggest crock of crap that I'd ever heard, but it's true. It's
Um,
true. As a parent, having to discipline hey, baby girl, having to discipline your child is not fun. Having to discipline these dogs is not fun because David works against me.
Don't get on that topic.
We'll talk about that because this is like a nuclear family right here and how David works against me. But anyway, if you are a step parent or even a bio parent that experiences guilty parent syndrome, don't beat yourself up. To me, it means that you have feelings. Should you let those feelings guide you? Just be aware of it. Your kids are aware of it.
Yeah.
I know daddy's not going to do this because he's going to be afraid I'm going to go stay with mama.
Yeah. And if you can get to the point in your relationship with your significant other where you can have those conversations, it it changes things a lot. It makes things a lot easier because you don't feel like the other person is looking down on you or judging you in a harsh way. Like, just have some empathy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
having those conversations, like you and I can sit down and say, I did this and, I didn't follow through with it or whatever. And you can kind of talk through it. And then Lori's like, I get it. I get it. But you did what you thought was right. It's like, it's not the end of the world because you didn't carry out your punishment to the fullest extent.
Right. I want to add something that just crossed my mind. If, say, for instance, Jackson did something
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't punish him for it,
Mm-hmm.
but you thought I should. If I punish Jackson because you think I should, what's going to happen?
You're going to resent me.
I'm going to resent you.
Yeah.
And I will feel guilty because I feel like I did what you wanted me to do
Mm-hmm.
versus what I felt like I should do.
Yep. And I think we both did that early on. I know we did because I remember one of my kids saying one time when I came upstairs and um, I said something to him. I don't know if it was punishment or what it was, but I remember him looking at me and saying, "Did that come from you or did that come from Lori?"
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, this kind of ties to a guest I had on our podcast last week. It's a stepkid that he just amazed me. Like, he moved into his stepdad's house. His stepdad wants him to make the bed. So he's like, okay, like, I don't want to do it, but this is your house. Like, he's very respectful.
Right.
And he said when he's at his dad's, he'll look at the bed and be like, I don't have to make it.
Yeah.
But his parents talk. If
Yeah.
he's in trouble at one house, he's in trouble at the other house. And if he said if his parents don't agree on something, they talk about it and work on a resolution.
Yeah. That's not common.
No, it's not common, but I told him he is very blessed
Mm-hmm.
because he has an opportunity to have a life without the step family crap.
Yep.
And he loves his stepmom and his stepdad.
That's good.
And his stepmom told him that he could always come back once he moved out.
I ain't telling Jackson
She's
that.
crazy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Once you're going, you're going.
I want to bring this up real quick and then we'll wrap up. So there's a situation where we may have some more people moving into our house.
Yeah, my kids.
Yeah.
And they're in tows.
In tows.
Yeah. Who they're bringing in with them.
And you and I have talked about it.
Right.
And we've talked about how it could affect us.
Right.
And also how it could affect Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my baby ain't happy, I'm going to be mad at whoever made him not happy. And I know that. And David knows that. It's being aware of these things, right?
Right.
And we talked about it. And no, this isn't Jackson's place to say who can move in and who can't.
Yeah. And he realizes that.
He realizes that. But it is his house.
It's his home.
His home. It's his home. And he needs to be able to do schoolwork and all this stuff without disruption. Right?
Yeah.
And we sat down and we talked to him about it. About, well, this is our plan. These are going to be the rules that are set. And these are the rules that are going to be followed. And it was important for you and I to sit down and have that conversation with him because I told you, I said, if my baby moves out because your kid came back, I'm going to be PO'd.
Yeah. I mean, it's not fair for anybody.
Forever. Like I would be, because that would be like cutting my life short with him or,
Yeah.
Because I'd keep him forever if I could.
No, I know.
Yeah. I should say that because my sister still lives with my daddy at 56 years old.
I will say though, it was important for us to have that conversation first. So
Yes.
you and I sat down, we had that conversation, and I mean, we're really, really good. I don't give us enough credit sometimes about having tough conversations without emotions. Like we don't get in arguments about stuff like that.
Not stuff like that.
We get in arguments because I push her buttons. I got to have some kind of excitement. Anyway, so we we don't get into arguments about stuff like that. We talk it through. I think we both do a really good job of sitting back and saying, okay, well, if I was in the same situation, I can see where you're coming from and why you would feel that way, and we talk through it. It's not a reactive conversation.
Right. And I have to say, I'm gonna give myself kudos here for a minute.
Hmm.
I'm a really good fence sitter. And when I say that, is I can see both sides.
uh
99% of the time, I can see both sides of an issue, even when I'm involved in it. And I think that helps me to not be so reactive to things because I am able to see your side. It's not just, you know, my way or the highway. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah, but we've gotten, and this is so important. We've gotten very good with communication,
Mhm.
and it is a skill that has to be learned and has to be exercised.
And you
So,
make me exercise it.
but and we have tough conversations all the time. That sometimes it's about blended family stuff. Sometimes it's just about married life stuff.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's about extended family stuff. Sometimes it's about money. Sometimes it's about food. It doesn't matter. We have the ability to have those conversations, and I'm speaking for me, not for you, but I feel safe having those conversations, and I think that's the reason we can
Mhm.
have them, because I don't feel like it's going to turn into an argument. If I felt that way, we would avoid them,
Right.
because you're always training somebody on how to communicate with you. And if I go, "Hey, honey, I'd like to talk to you about our finances," and you're blow up at me, I'm like, "Okay, well, we won't do that again."
Mhm. Well, and really, it's the matter of fact that you and I want to work together for a resolution for what's best for everybody. It's not, I have to be right or you
Mhm.
have to be right. Well, you like to be right more than I do, or it's more
Well,
important.
it's not a thing about like to be right. I just am right.
Yeah. Like I was gonna get you a shirt that says David's right
I
or
had one,
something.
didn't I?
I don't even know. All right. So,
Thought somebody got me one that said something like David's always right.
as a step parent, please, please think about what your partner's going through.
Mhm.
Think about how this isn't easy for them and don't judge them.
Have some blended empathy.
Right. And don't be like, you got guilty parent syndrome. That's what's wrong with you. Did you know that? I mean, it's
Yeah.
all about how you approach it and your tone and the words you use.
And it's probably good too, even though we're putting this at the end. Like, this is not a diagnosis.
Right. Right.
So I don't think you're gonna get treatment for it somewhere at a pharmacy.
I don't know. It depends on what state you live in.
Yeah. All right, that's a good place to stop right there.
All right, y'all. Behave, be nice to your partner, be decent to your stepkids, and love yourself.
Yeah. There you go. And as my shirt says, life is good.
Wing you nacho.